We've all known someone, currently know someone, or have been someone that has suffered from a mental illness or a mental health issue. With that being said, there is a false stigma surrounding mental health in which people view mental health issues or people suffering from these issues as being weak, sensitive, or not being able to control their emotions. With that being said, I always looked at my sister as being a baby, overreacting, or just not being able to handle herself. However, it was not until both my mom and my sister were both diagnosed with anxiety and prescribed medication that I started to realize and understand that their mental illness is not something that they can control, and that they aren't being a baby or overreacting or weak or sensitive. They're suffering from a real illness, just as anything physical. Now, we're going to look in this speech, we're going to look at the stigma surrounding mental health issues and the fact that many people think that mental health is not a part of overall health through three kind of different paths. First, we're going to look at how mental illness, basically we're going to look at the stigma and how mental illness is characterized as, these people are characterized as weak or sensitive. Then, we're going to look at how, because of the stigma, many people do not receive the necessary treatment. And then finally, we're going to look at how insurance companies play into the stigma and reinforce it by not treating mental health and physical health as equal in their coverage plans. Now, this being said, by the end of this speech, I hope you have transformed your opinion surrounding mental health and the stigma about it. So first, we're going to look at the stigma of mental health being characterized as weak or as people suffering from mental health being characterized as weak or sensitive. First off, many society and many people think that mental illness is caused by personality weakness and or character flaws. However, this is so far from the truth. According to mentalhealth.gov, mental health problems have nothing to do with being lazy or weak. Furthermore, there are many factors that do contribute to mental health that do not include lazy, weakness, personality traits. All these things that do contribute to mental health are things that people really do not have control over. First off, mental health can be caused by biological factors, as in genetics, trauma or views from previous experiences, and family history. All these things people do not have control over. Therefore, this debunks the kind of stigma that people have control over their mental health and they're just choosing to behave in that way. Continuing on from this, there are these false commonplaces and stigmas result in people not receiving the necessary treatment that they truly need. According to the U.S. National Library of Medicine's National Institute of Health, approximately 70% of people suffering with mental illness worldwide go untreated. This has also contributed to many factors, mainly the overarching commonplace or stigma surrounding mental health. However, there are many smaller factors that all add up to this. First off, the stigma, which then can lead into discrimination against people with mental health, which causes people who are suffering from mental health to not think that treatment is necessary for them because they don't really think that their issue is worthy of treatment as in a physical health issue would be, which this can sometimes create fear of getting treatment, and which in turn worsens the mental illness itself, which can prohibit someone from going and receiving treatment. However, one of the largest issues concerning people not getting the treatment they need are practical issues like not being able to afford treatment, which is also due to a lack of insurance coverage, which leads into our next point, that finally people do not receive the necessary treatment because insurance companies do not treat mental and physical health equally. Now, according to NPR, in 2015, behavioral care was 4 to 6 times more likely to be provided out of network than medical or surgical care. With that being said, not provide many treatment for mental health usually is not provided through insurance, and this is a way that many people afford treatments and medications for their physical health, and when these are not offered for their mental health, people cannot afford the treatment and or medications necessary. With that being said, these insurance companies are furthering the stigma of mental health by not deeming it as part of your overall health and not providing the equal treatment for both physical and mental health, which can lead to a discriminatory view towards people with mental health issues. Finally, with all that being said, we have looked at the stigma surrounding mental health and how many people can view it as weak, sensitive, not in control of your emotions, and how this stigma leads to people not getting the necessary treatment they need, and how ultimately many insurance companies do not cover mental health treatment, which just further reinforces the stigma. Now, this seems like just a cycle of people suffering from mental health not getting treatment, insurance companies reinforcing that they don't need treatment, which just worsens someone's mental health issue. And overall, I hope this speech has transformed your opinion, and I urge you to treat mental illness as a real health issue and to see people suffering from mental illness not as weak but as strong for suffering from a sort of invisible disease. Thank you.